What are some of these top ways that we can reduce our injury risk? What kind of things do you think about?
Again, we always have to go back to the overload under recovery equation if you want to reduce your risk of injury. And there are tons of ways that we can, dissect that and different tangents that we can take. And one thing that just was forefront of my mind was optimal cadence, the amount of steps you take per minute, making sure that you're within sort of an optimal range, because if it's below optimal, or if your cadence is quite low, then it'll be less efficient. So usually those who, not always, but usually those who have a really low cadence are usually overstriding. And that, creates unwanted braking forces. We can, it's a whole nother topic in itself, but just making sure that you're within your optimal cadence range, because that comes into the training load part of that equation of overtrain under recovery. And you could be accumulating these training loads unnecessarily. The second one I put down was the monitoring your training loads, monitoring your TRIMP, or like you say, the acute to chronic workload ratio. Anything that's making sure that these things are in place, these systems are in place to reduce the risk of an abrupt change. And most of those abrupt changes are doing too much too soon. And so documenting those. And the third one I had when it comes to sort of reducing your risk of injury, but it's all about listening to the body, accurately interpreting what's happening, and then effective implementation to, reduce that risk of injury. But if we know what to do once they do arise, and you return back to running without losing any fitness, without any significant time off or any major disruption to any of your training, then you're doing yourself a really good service, and it's developing these qualities and this insight for just running longevity and just pushing into the next year, just learning more about your body and exactly what you need to do. Really set you up for a good, long, healthy career.
Are you in a spot where you would say that anybody can decrease their injury risk down to zero and be a runner? Or do you think it's not quite that simple?